Wow! Three great 3D platformers starring Crash Bandicoot by Naughty Dog, and a great Mario Kart clone. Now, I wonder what Naughty Dog's game on the PS2 will be. There was Crash Bash, but that wasn't made by them. They spent nearly 3 years developing a PS2 game. Now, the game that would come to my mind is Crash Bandicoot, the Wrath of Cortex. But for some reason, Naughty Dog's name isn't on the disc. Instead, we have Konami. They must have published the game by the looks of it. Well, I have to pop it into my PS2 to see what Naughty Dog has done. I hope you enjoy this review. What? Where was Naughty Dog's logo? I mean, that's just so weird. Well, Naughty Dog did make a PS2 game, but what game did they make if it wasn't Crash Bandicoot, the Wrath of Cortex? I wonder what this game is. Who's that? I want to know who this guy is. That kind of looks like the Crash Bandicoot dance. Who's that kid? I want to know. Well, at least Naughty Dog made this game, but what is this game called? Jak and Daxter? The Precursor Legacy. Why did Naughty Dog cancel with the Crash Bandicoot series? Well, according to the internet, Naughty Dog lost the rights to Universal Studios, and Crash Bandicoot was owned by Universal. So Naughty Dog had to make a new series, and this is what we have. Jak and Daxter. Well, it's an awesome game, I can tell you that. So at least we have a great game that starts a great series. Anyway, back to Crash Bandicoot, the Wrath of Cortex. The story is that, well, I'm not showing you the intro cutscene because it's like 6 or 7 minutes long. But what happens is that Uka is angry that Crash has foiled Cortex's plans 3 times, and Cortex has an ultimate weapon which is called Crash Bandicoot, and Uka releases the elemental masks, which is like Aku and Uka, but they have elements, kind of like the elemental shields in Sonic 3, and he uses them to make Crunch extremely powerful, and it's up to Crash and Coco to defeat Cortex once again. Now, the controls are the same as they are in Crash 3. X makes you jump, square makes you spin, R1 and circle make you duck, and if you're running, you spin. It's annoying that it's just a smaller platform, because you might accidentally go on it, as in the bonus from the platform. You still run with the R2 button, and you do move with the D-pad or the analog stick. Returning from Crash 2 are the Tornado Spin, Super Body Slam, Ultimate Spinning, and the Double Jump. and also the bazooka, but it won't let you do it in the main warp zone. You have a new move, tiptoeing, which you do by holding L2. And I'm pretty sure that you use the bazooka by pressing the L1 button. The status is the triangle button, and those are the controls. And they're fine, they work. And overall, you will get used to them. They're just as good as they were in Crash 3. Maybe a little more responsive. The gameplay is very similar to Crash Bandicoot Warped. When I say very, I mean very. And yes, you get out the bazooka by pressing L1 and then the slide button. There's practically nothing new except for some new mechs and new level designs. Time trials return. And they're just as fun as they were in Crash 3. And this game is very underrated because not many people like this game. It received mixed opinions when it first came out. Some people like it, some people hate it. Well, I wouldn't say hate, I mean dislike. Now this game does have high difficulty, which is annoying. It's harder than Crash Bandicoot Warped. And the game looks fantastic for an early PS1 game. I'll get into the music later, because that's something I'm not really a fan of. I mean, seriously. I'll explain more in the actual flaws I have with this game. But this game is very fun. And I don't really see why people don't like it. You get to ride in a Jeep, and there's loads more mechs to drive in, like, well, there's loads. Not only that there's a Jeep, but there's a helicopter pack, a submarine, a mech, and you can even roll in a ball. The problem with all the mechs, well, basically all the new things you go in, is that they control stiffly, and the worst offender are the rolling balls. These balls move awkwardly. I mean, seriously. Plus, because of the awkward controls, the levels can be really hard. I mean, seriously, it's so hard just to get a gold relic in this level. I haven't gotten a gold relic yet. These rolling ball stages can be frustrating and hard to complete. And I died. I mean, seriously. There are a lot of flaws about this game. And I will tell you them all right now. My first problem with this game, and trust me, there is a lot, is that the game has load times that take ages! I mean, seriously! This is how long the load times in this game are. 20 seconds of loading. That's just appalling! And there's not really that much new compared to Crash Bandicoot Warped. In fact, it's almost the same game, just with new levels. Much better graphics, especially for an early PS2 game. And, well, good level design. Now, the level design's good, but very frustrating. Seriously. You can die quite a bit, because the game can be quite unfair. Another problem I have with this game is that the secret routes that you have to take are so hard. I mean, this was true in the old games, but it's a problem here, mainly because the level design can be annoying. It's good, but it's hard to memorize, let's just say that. Plus, like the first game, this game felt a bit too hard. Now, I could explain more about the difficulty, but let's just say it's very frustrating to get 100%. Now let's talk about another thing that disappointed me. The music. The music is another problem I have with this game. It's nowhere near as memorable as it was in the old games. Some of the songs in this game are awesome, like the one you're hearing now, but most of the soundtrack, well, the songs in this game are just forgettable and bland. Seriously, I can barely remember most of the soundtrack. This is the song that sticks out in my head the most out of this entire game. That's saying a lot, because the old games had great music. Most of the songs are just lame, boring, and forgettable, which is disappointing. But for some reason, there are a few tracks that stand out, like this one. I wish all of the music was as good as this song. But still, life isn't always fair. It's like Traveller's Tales didn't know how to make decent music for games like this. I mean, seriously. I know that they've done decent pieces of music before. Like, the soundtrack in Mickey Mania for Mega Drive sounds awesome. And they developed that game. But the music in this game is overall disappointing. But this song is awesome. I can listen to the song all day if I wanted to. Now, let's move on to the bosses. I forgot to mention that you could play as Coco. That's twice that I was about to move on to the bosses, but I forgot something. You can now place her regularly without you needing to have a vehicle, but she's very similar to Crash. Very. Here are her controls. You press X to jump. You press square to kick. You press circle to do a sweep kick. R1 does the same thing. The disappointing thing about Coco is that she doesn't get the upgrades that Crash gets, except the Super Slam and the running, but that's about it. and her levels are not very fun. This music's good, but it's not memorable. That's the problem with the soundtrack in this game. Some of it's good, but it's unmemorable. With that exception that I said earlier. That's what you use the sweep kick for. Seriously. Okay! Wait, Coco also has levels where she can ride on a snowboard. No more Purra? No more jet ski? Just a snowboard? That seems wrong. But don't worry, because we do have snowboarding, just like I said. And it's annoying travelling on ice. Now we get to the snowboarding part. Okay, we're snowboarding down this mountain. But I need to speed up. Which you do by holding circle. Okay! Now! Let's get on to the bosses. Now that we've gotten defeated by an avalanche. It turns out that the bosses are also disappointments. Why? Because every single boss fight, and I mean every single boss fight, you fight Crunch. This is the first one. And you are fighting him in a ball. And trust me, the ball mechanics are slippery. And this boss is gimmicky. Seriously. This boss is so hard. And gimmicky. You have to hit all the balls to attack Crunch. It seems easy, but it's not. And why does Crunch travel in a beehive? And why is this boss so gimmicky and annoying? This is a disappointing fight and it sucks. Seriously. I was expecting to fight Crunch, but not until near the end of the game. I was expecting to fight the elemental masks, but I was expecting them to help the main bosses from the old games, not help Crunch for every single fight. Seriously. The controls in this are just dreadful. It's so hard to actually hit the balls. This is a terrible boss fight, and it's very disappointing. And just like Crash Bandicoot Crash Bandicoot Warped, once you beat a boss, you get a new power. I'm pretty sure you get the tiptoe ability once you beat this boss. The second boss is annoying as well. Once you figure out his pattern, He's not as hard as he was the first time you fought him, but he's annoying, I can tell you that. You get the double jump after you beat him. But you will die quite a bit the first time you fight him. Well, at least he wasn't as gimmicky as the first boss, and at least it didn't take so long to beat him like the first boss. The third boss is actually cool, but very frustrating. If you're wondering where you get the super body slam, you find it in a hidden passageway in level 8, the first Coco level. This boss is cool. I mean, seriously, it's an improvement over the previous two bosses. But it's a disappointment that he's hard. Really hard. And he gets more annoying the more times you hit him. Especially on the second time, because he poops fireballs! I wish I was Ryu so I could throw a Hadouken in his face. That's how hard this boss is. Well, at least he's cool. But trust me, you will die against this boss. Quite a bit. The most annoying thing he does is, well, poop his bombs. Well, poops his fireballs. Now he throws two at once. Now you have to be really careful. He throws them so fast. Just contains pure luck. Well, this boss is cool. He's a decent boss. Apart from being incredibly frustrating. After you beat him, you get the tornado spin. Well, at least he was better than the previous two bosses, but he was really hard. The fourth boss is epic because you can
do a barrel roll.
Yep, you can. Whee! This is fun. Not only that this boss is challenging, but it's not too hard. You just need to shoot him a lot. He definitely reminds me of Engine from the previous game. But a lot more challenging. I gotta shoot in your chest because that's how I'm gonna kill you. And I'm gonna have to shoot your hand. And please, I'm gonna do a
barrel roll.
Yeah, I just did that. Ha ha, you can't catch me. Whee! I'm flying high into the sky. In the belly. Whee! Oh dear, I'm shooting you, but I'm trying to avoid your projectiles at the same time. Whee! I mean, seriously, shoot into his chest and he'll die quickly. Well, that part would anyway. Seriously, I got to shoot his hand. This boss is just so cool. I just wanted to be so happy about this boss because it's so awesome. Haha, I got to shoot his hand enough times because I haven't shot it enough. Haha, shooting your hand. Ha 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 ha. Ha. I shot
Barrel roll. No barrel roll.
hand. Ah, I failed. Never mind. At least you can. Shush, Peppy, because I just beat the best boss in Crash Bandicoot the Way of Cortex. The final boss is just annoying. Seriously, Crunch will step on a switch, which will cause an elemental mask to attack you. And once he's tired, shoot him, and then he'll punch Cortex to you with an uppercut, and then Crunch will attack you again with more attacks. Haha, Cortex, get a load of this. This boss is annoying, but it's not as hard as the boss from Crash Bandicoot Warped. Ha! I got you this time, Crunch. Just uppercut Cortex, and then we'll talk. Ha. Miss me. Crunch does a lot of attacks once you've hit him 3 times. Uppercut Cortex one more time, and then we can spin him. And, well, that's the end of the boss. Well, pretty much, that's the end of the game. Then we have a loading screen. And then we get the ending.
Can't you ever let me win? What do you want from me, you creature? Cortex! You realize that Crash may have collected all the crystals, but he doesn't have the gems. With the gems, we can resurrect the masks one last time and destroy that bandicoot once and for all.
If you get the good ending, Cortex and Uka Uka get frozen on this island in the North Pole or the South Pole. And you will see a brief showing of that in Crash Twinsanity for the PlayStation 2. So that was Crash Bandicoot the Way for Cortex. The good things were that it did have good gameplay, the graphics were great for its time, and overall it was just fun. The downsides were that the Coco stages wasn't very fun, the bosses were disappointing, it was too similar to Crash Bandicoot Warped, and the music wasn't very memorable, for the most part. There are also minecart levels, but that was the main game. I hope you enjoyed this review. Please comment, rate and subscribe. Sadly, Crash Bandicoot wasn't too pleased about this game. This game wasn't as good as the previous games. Traveller's Tales, you almost ruined my games. It's just a good thing that Crash Twinsanity was a better game. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please comment, rate and subscribe. Until next time, play the good, but avoid the bad. And that's my new saying, by the way. Do you like it or not? Anyway, that's the end of the review. Goodbye.